So the second point we discussed before is to try to convert everything to use electricity, electrify everything. But obviously to use the electricity we produced in the first point, which is the renewable energies. And here we're talking mainly about transportation, our cars, trucks, buses, maybe even planes in the future to work to use electricity, clean electricity. If we look at what's happening today in the transportation sector, we're all familiar with our conventional gasoline cars, which uses gasoline at the gas station, a huge amount of emissions from these cars, greenhouse gases. Hybrid cars are a little bit better. They use gasoline, but they also produce electricity, less emissions. Plug-in hybrid also are not perfect. They're better, also a fair amount of emissions. But when we go to electric cars, then we have basically zero emissions from the car, which are greenhouse gases. There are some emissions due to the production stage. We have to produce these cars. And today, when most people are using actually the power grid to charge their cars, and this power is coming from fossil fuels, then obviously we haven't done much. But the goal is that in the next 10 years, we'll have more and more renewable energies in the grid. And when we can eventually charge our electric cars from renewable energies, then we'll have basically very close to zero emissions from electric cars, buses, trains, etc. around the world. Now, there are two types of zero-emission vehicles. One is basically the electric car that everyone knows about, which is basically plugging your car into the wall at the gas station or at home to get electricity. The electricity will charge an onboard battery, and you have all the other processes in the car that will drive the car. The other type is what we call fuel cell cars, and this is cars which you actually fill up your car with hydrogen when you go to the gas station and not plug it into the wall. And hydrogen can then be used in what we call a fuel cell to produce electricity. And this electricity then, similar to the electric car, will drive all the motors in the car and will get you from A to B. So the zero-emission cars can be either the actual electricity, plugging it in the wall, or putting hydrogen into your car, and the hydrogen then in the car will produce the electricity through fuel cells. And these are the two different ways that the transportation industry is converting our gasoline cars to zero-emission cars, and buses as well. And this market is taking off exponentially. If we can see the global electric car market from 2010 to 2021, 2010 there were very few electric cars on the road, and things are increasing exponentially now. China is actually leading the way in producing electric cars. And some of the leading car makers around the world have stated that by 2030, all the new cars sold will only be electric. And so after 2030, it's going to be very difficult to buy a car which is not electric, and therefore slowly we'll see all the gasoline cars being removed from the market. So this is a very positive sign that we're actually moving away from the fossil fuels in the transportation industry. The industry is taking this forward very fast, and we're going to see dramatic changes in the next decade when we're talking about electric transportation. One problem with electric cars and electric vehicles is the batteries. These batteries have a certain lifetime. We then throw them away. We have to recycle them. They're using various elements which we have to go mine in different parts of the world. So this is a problem. So one of the solutions also that people are thinking about is maybe we can charge these batteries or smaller batteries wirelessly under the road. You know maybe about smartphones that can be charged wirelessly without plugging them in, putting them on a pad which you can charge your smartphone. Well, cars can also be perhaps charged under the road. You may need a small battery to get from your home to the main highway or to the main road, but as you can see in this image, the colored roads here in the future may have this wireless charging under the roads, and every 100 meters or so as you're driving, your battery will get charged continuously. So while you're driving on the highways, you'll be charged and getting electricity continuously for your car, for your bus. Trains obviously get that at the moment, and therefore we can reduce this problem of the batteries and the storage of electricity in our transportation by charging them wirelessly. And hopefully, again, this energy under the roads will come from renewable energies and not from fossil fuels in the future.